Hello students, welcome to our Read Aloud. Today I'm so excited to be sharing with you a brand new book. This book, Let Liberty Rise, was only published about 2 weeks ago. So to publish a book, right, is when the company that's going to make the book finally does it and their factories make it and they send it out and people can start buying it. And this was only published a little more than 2 weeks ago. So let's take a closer look at Let Liberty Rise, How America's School Children Helped Save the Statue of Liberty by Chana, Stiefel, illustrated by Groenink. And there I see the torch and a bunch of children, and also it looks like the feet of the Statue of Liberty. And on the back, in fact, it's a continuous from the front to the back. We can also see Liberty's face and a bunch of school children. Okay, let's go. Oh my goodness. And look, the end paper is plain, but what color is it? Shiny copper, like the original color of the Statue of Liberty. Here we go. Let Liberty Rise. Oh, and this looks like a photograph that we've seen, right? A historical photograph of the torch. Okay, wow. So let's see. I'm going to adjust here so we can really see well. It was America's 100th birthday. The people of France were building a giant gift for their friends in the United States. Oh, this must be Bartholdi with a smaller model of the statue. It was an enormous statue, one of the largest the world was yet to see. Her name was Liberty. With her torch held high, she was a symbol of freedom and friendship between the two countries. Here's a little close-up of them doing the work. But she was too big to send in one piece, so all 350 pieces of Lady Liberty, from the tips of her toes to the rays of her crown, were placed in crates, 214 in all, and packed together in the hull of a ship. The hull is like the bottom part of a ship. Bon voyage! The French people cried when the ship Isère set sail across the Atlantic. It was the spring of 1885. And they're saying goodbye to the ship setting off to New York. 1 month later, the Statue of Liberty arrived at New York's Bedloe's Island. Soon, workers were hoisting the heavy crates from the ship. They marveled at this gargantuan gift. Gargantuan means really huge. But a colossal problem, oh, there's another word that means big, but a colossal problem had been brewing. The French had asked the Americans to build a pedestal, a huge footstool for the statue to stand on, and it was barely half built when she arrived. When a statue weighs nearly as much as 40 elephants, she needs a strong foundation to hold her up. But funds for the pedestal had dried up, and few Americans wanted to pay the bill. It's too expensive. Who needs it? What kind of gift is that? Her pedestal would cost more than $100,000 to complete. That's $2.6 million today, enough to buy 203,000 kids' tickets to Lady Liberty's crown. Even New York's richest millionaires turned up their noses. So nobody wanted to pay for the pedestal. Without a pedestal, Lady Liberty would never rise. Like a giant 350-piece puzzle, crates still packed with her parts would be scattered about Bedloe's Island in the scorching sun and pounding rain. Poor Lady Liberty. And even though Lady Liberty had a mouth, a huge mouth, stretching 3 feet wide, she needed a voice to get that pedestal built. Send her home to Paris. Ugh. Oh my goodness. The Americans hadn't built the pedestal and no one wanted to give the money. Let's see what happens. That voice came from a man named Joseph Pulitzer. Like Lady Liberty, Pulitzer sailed to America from a foreign country, arriving as a poor Jewish Hungarian immigrant when he was 17. He taught himself English, fought for the Union in the Civil War, and worked as a lumberjack, waiter, lawyer, politician, and newspaperman. Eventually, Pulitzer bought a newspaper called the New York World. 2 months before Lady Liberty set sail, he knew she had to stand in New York Harbor, the gateway to America. When he heard about her plight, he was furious. Pulitzer wrote in his newspaper, The World, let's see up close. Let us not wait for the millionaires to give money. Lady Liberty is not a gift from the millionaires of France to the millionaires of America. It is a gift of the whole people of France to the whole people of America. So he wrote that in his newspaper to get people excited, right? Then Pulitzer made a tantalizing offer. The World would print the name of every single person who donated to the pedestal fund, no matter how small the sum or how small the person. The next day, pennies, nickels, dimes, and dollars poured in. A penny might not seem like much, but every cent in those days was worth about 26 cents today. $1 would equal about $26. Newspapers across the country picked up the story. School children everywhere emptied their piggy banks. In the first week, the World raised more than $2,000. And here is a newspaper kid reading extra, extra, read all about it. And here at the dining room table, this dad is reading to his family in the newspaper, who would like to give money for the pedestal? So the idea was, he said that whoever gives money, even if they only give 1 penny, he would put their name in his newspaper on a big important list, right? So they would feel excited that they had contributed. Here we go. As weeks passed, more and more money rolled in. A young girl sent in 60 cents. I wish I could make it $60,000, she wrote, but drops make an ocean. A poor office boy contributed a hard-earned nickel. Children from one family wrote that they had taken French lessons. We love the good French people for giving us this beautiful statue, and we send you $1, the money we saved, to go to the circus. Addie M. Berryman wrote, we are 14 little boys and girls, and we made up a club for the pedestal fund. Instead of spending our money for candy, we saved up. I made up this letter myself. I am the president. 2 boys wrote, when we get to be big men, we want to say we helped build the pedestal. We now send you $13. Maybe we will have more. 12 public schools in Trenton, New Jersey collected $105.07. A kindergarten class from Davenport, Iowa mailed in $1.35. In June, a $10 donation came from 1,000 students. Each child gave a penny a week for charity. That week they sent their pennies to help build the pedestal. Every day the money poured in, and every day they were closer to reaching their goal. And there's Pulitzer receiving the donations. Finally, on August 11th, 1885, the World's headline said $100,000. Thanks to 120,000 donors, school children, as well as farmers, factory workers, policemen, immigrants, housewives, office clerks, and others, Lady Liberty reached her goal. The honorable rich, as well as the poorest of the poor, joined in common spirit for a common cause. Pulitzer proudly wrote in his newspaper, The World, at last there would be enough money to finish the pedestal. It wasn't just a footstool for Lady Liberty to stand on. With concrete walls 20 feet thick and 89 feet tall, it would become a magnificent anchor for the statue to weather the test of time. Once the pedestal was finished, Lady Liberty was freed from her crates. Slowly, piece by piece, she started to rise. First, workers assembled her metal skeleton. Then they riveted her copper skin. Up, up, up rose the statue until she was complete. On October 28, 1886, about 1 million people came to celebrate Lady Liberty's inauguration. A parade passed by Pulitzer's World building, and soon everyone would see what America's pennies had built. Oh my goodness, look at that big, beautiful illustration from top, whoops, to bottom. There she stood, tall and proud, the Statue of Liberty, America's symbol of freedom and hope. After the celebrations, steamships carrying new immigrants sailed into New York Harbor. Holding her torch high, the Statue of Liberty welcomed them to their new home. And there she stands today, thanks to the contributions of people all across America and school children just like you. Okay, so in the back, there's a timeline and some more facts. And we're not going to read all those details. And there is a photograph from about 1905. So, I hope you enjoyed Let Liberty Rise. And since we got to do something, I like going back. I like most of all the page where it's kind of page by page quickly telling all the different things that children did to contribute, right? Here it's like, here's these kids who saved up money. They had taken French class. Here's a group of kids who made a club. All these school children and young kids here and there were all contributing, everybody, to make it happen. So I hope you enjoyed Let Liberty Rise. Don't forget to keep washing your hands, cover your coughs and sneezes, do some reading, do some writing, help your family around the house, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.